of games to happen before we get to our grand final on Sunday. Lots of Siege to be enjoyed, and a reminder, on Saturday we have our Year 7 Season 1 panel. Started seeing the teasers come through. In case you've missed it, the little like holding the pointy knife and gloves and wearing a jacket that looks like yours, Tim. Honestly, I think the devs watched one of your casts last year, loved the jacket so much they thought, you know what, we're going to use that for inspiration.
I mean, if that was the case, what an honour that would be. It was a very nice jacket.
It was a very nice jacket.
It was the jacket that I wore for the final last year.
I got a question. What are you more excited about? Are you more excited about Year 7 Season 1, given its proximity, or are you more excited about Year 7 roadmap to see what's coming over the next 12 months?
I like the roadmap.
I'm a big fan.
I like to see what's coming over the next 12 months. As you know, I like to watch it as a spectator essentially as much as I can. I try not to find anything out. I like to just get in there completely, watch it from fresh, and very excited about it all.
Most excited at all, and seeing if warm-up comes out in this season as well. Of course, we saw it before on the public test server as well. It's going to be super exciting. And Bolo clearly has done his warm-up today. A few T-hunts before he got into the server. One ban coming away that is quite spicy is the Osa. Now, we spoke about this throughout the tournament a couple of times. Many came in theorizing, you're not going to see her. It's a little bit cheesy. Why would it be a thing? It's been a thing for several teams who have used it quite effectively. Dark Zero I can think of in several instances on Coastline have made a good use of it. And here, clearly, the fear has been instilled as it has been banned away by TSM.
What I like about Osa is that she's in a really good spot, I feel, at the minute. We've seen it used, but sort of niche, not just every single round bring an Osa because it's just so powerful. It has been countered. It's not like, a guaranteed win. It's not like bring the Osa along and just guarantee the win. There's ways of beating it, and we've seen teams beat it.
Yep. You know what the real beauty is? We have our own Croatian observer with us, Medics.
Did he rate my pronunciation of
No, he thought
Osa?
It was terrible.
Was it?
It's Osa.
Osa.
Osa. Osa. His voice recording he gave to us, he did it like 7 times.
I know, it's
He's speaking to me again. What did you say, Medics?
Was that better, Medics?
It means a wasp.
Osa. Is that better?
Osa, that's a bit heavy on the O sound. It's like os. You know, you go like
Osa.
Like Osa. Osa. Okay. Osa. 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 It's a very light H sound. Well, same way in which when I cast the Nordics, and I was always calling Nook like knock. He was like, no. Snurrelaith, the caster over there, said to me, it's Nook, like N-U-H-K. That's what that weird O does, that we just have no idea how that character sounds. Yeah, Nook is what you're looking for. There you go. Nook.
Couple of pronunciation lessons before we get into the action phase.
I feel like we're the wrong people to do pronunciation lessons, Tim.
I think we definitely are, and I'm pretty sure Medics is still sat there rolling his eyes because I didn't get Osa right once.
He's absolutely fuming, as he says.
His pronunciation of which, absolutely flawless.
Oh, yeah. So
we get into this 45 seconds in. Merc's going to be heading down the main stairs. They are attacking on bank, and they're looking to clear out those Team Liquid roamers for the time being. It's Tellers and Archives, I believe, is the site. No, it's all the way down. Sorry, I misplaced my silhouettes.
We were busy talking about Osa.
All the way down.
Osa,
you can forgive
Osa,
us.
Osa.
All the way down in lockers and CCTV. So clearing out the mid floor going to be important, making sure they've got hold of that so they can get the hatches, which is exactly what they're doing. But they're using both exothermic charges, so it's going to limit the size. I think the first one was an exothermic as well. It's going to limit the size of the hole they can put potentially in the server wall.
Indeed. I mean, we're looking at the Heartbreach gadgets. We spoke about this the other day as well. I can't remember which team it was. They brought an Ace, they brought a Thermite, and they brought, I want to say it was Ying. It was Dark Zero. Of course it's Dark Zero. As soon as I say Ying, I just think a Canadian playing it. They had the 2 Heartbreach gadgets. They had the 3 Selmas, 2 which were given to a hatch, and the 2 exothermics to go onto other hatches. In some rounds, if they'd lost the Heartbreacher earlier on, they'd lost the Ying, I think, as an entry death. They had to be really selective on what hatches they got because they needed the exothermic to also open up the Thermite wall, which is very well placed inside of server. No doubt you will see it way into this round potentially. In fact, looking downstairs on my other monitor, I can see it's been opened up like Swiss cheese, Tim, or as they call it in Switzerland, cheese. It's been opened up with a number of holes through it to make it hard to get any kind of exothermic stuck onto it, which can make it a bit of a nightmare. Here, though, we're looking towards this entry battle down inside of Garage. A good bit of information being given back and forth. And here comes Charlotte on the step forward. Only 3 of those SAM cams out so far.
Ooh, big challenge from the shotgun on the door. I love that battle between Merc and PSK inside a garage. PSK, of course, such an important operator on the Echo. Achieved is going to find the opener, though, with one onto Ask, and it's going to be an interesting push from TSM because they're not really working the servers too heavy. They're looking for hatches, they're looking for other roads in. Achieved has got himself inside a site here. Gio's going to be getting that diffuser down, and this has been a great attack from TSM.
They love it. Absolutely love it. As I was referring to Dark Zero yesterday and saying how they're being a lot quieter these days, a bit more reserved in their gameplay, and for a good reason. I did reach out and ask, why that was, and they simply said, look, we don't want people to panic. We've said it a few times ourselves. That energy, I want it in the middle. I don't want it low. I don't want it too high. I want it in the middle. But TSM right now are riding off the highs. They're channeling some of that LATAM energy that we're so used to seeing. And why wouldn't you, after you've just flawless rounded the enemy team in round number 1? Not even a competition or fight being given by the side of Liquid, which is the exact reverse, because on Chalet, it was basically Liquid who started with an incredibly dominant first round.
Yeah, it was interesting from TSM. It was a different kind of attacking push. We just had a lot of hatches opened up. Not so much the focus onto that server wall. We had players playing from different angles, just making it very difficult. Merc just holding up a player inside a garage. It didn't really matter whether he challenged him or not. All he was doing was keeping the Echo busy so that he couldn't get on the Yokai drones and prevent the plant going down. It was just really well played from TSM. Very, very nice.
I love what their comp is doing, by the way, with the Zero and the Jackal on side. Roma Hunter, when you look at the Jackal, cool. Zero is kind of there as your... a bit of a mix. You can kind of hybrid him and use him for collecting information on site, of course, blasting it through soft walls, things like that, getting a quick cheeky peek at what's going on. But you can also scatter them around the map and put them in strange little places where you can sit and have the flank watch held down. So rather than committing a drone towards that, your drones can go and focus on site and collecting information for the execute, and those SAMcams will do all the hard yards for you. Charlotte not putting them to a ton of use in the last round, admittedly. Did only use the one. Other than that, he was pushing his way down blue stairs and looking to get into trouble with the players that were holding down there. Believe it would have been Parlu sat on the shotgun. Not on the shotgun, it was Ask, sorry, playing with that. Which is probably why they've got the warden. They're not worried too much about a Ying here. It's more the fear of looking in towards saying, well, we need a shotgun because the smoke's playing FMG. It's Parlu doing what all these other entry players have been doing lately, playing the smoke with the FMG. So we do need a shield from somewhere. Why not have it be the warden in this case?
We had a very quick push into the map there from Merc, and he did nearly manage to catch Liquid out, getting back towards site from getting those hatches. And it really would have been a big push. I think it's going to be the warden that's playing on blue stairs. We've seen it a few times recently, as you said, as shield, shotgun, perfect for it really. If the flashes do get through, if the smokes do get through, still easy to sort of stay in position with his gadget and just keep himself safe. So it's going to be a little bit of a problem that TSM need to deal with, but once again they've got themselves in well. They're opening hatch as well, and Team Liquid, they need to find some gunfights in this round.
Ideally, because they didn't find a single one last round, Tim.
Exactly.
They've got to get started at some point, and I'm sure in this round there will be something coming back. It's rare that you're going to see a double flawless round coming in when the two teams are of this caliber. Achieved. Set up on the hatch with the nade trying to come in towards blue. It's trying to burn their way through here. The shield not quite going to be taken out as it was well tucked up into that corner just before it got inside of the room, I think. Was that on the other side of the wall?
I'm not 100% sure. It didn't.
I want to say it was.
That way. Great from Ask there. Gets one. They double up and Merc goes in as well. 4 versus 4 now after the entry from Liquid. But the plant spot is open. We've got 1:10 left to go. And TSM, they're looking good again here, Des. They just need to start breaking down inside a site. PSK is completely tied up with Garage, but I don't think there's anybody pushing him from that side this time.
Really smart play from TSM to double up on the bottom of the stairs as well, mind you, rather than having someone swing from the top like most players are used to. That's why you saw Ask full sprint it back to the top of the stairs, expecting the swing to come in from both sides. The idea being that you can't challenge both at the same time, but they just kind of bait and switch a little bit there and get away with it. Here come the nades, then in comes the smokes from both teams. One smoke canister coming out and a smoke nade going deep in towards site. Gio opting not to charge through and try and get the diffuser down behind the back of the site. And here's Charlie now with that 4th and final SAMcam out on the map, able to feed a little bit of information over to Achieved, who's watching on those drones.
Merc is pushing into Garage again. We saw this last time. I'm not sure PSK is aware. He turns and looks to take the fight, but he's going to be downed. Easy as that. That's your Yokai drones gone, and a bigger problem is that you've now got Merc in behind you, and he can just start peppering Red Tunnel. That was a big, big play from Liquid there, but Gio is able to get in, start getting the diffuser down, but no. Liquid, they collapse, and they managed to shut it all down. The kill onto Merc inside a Garage was just essential there.
It was a biggie because he was coming up and really would have disrupted that setup they had inside of the lockers. Good close out for the side of Liquid. Much more decisive than what we saw in the prior round and all. The one thing, again, I'll comment on is, for the most part, achieved. I don't know if it's a bug with the UI, so I don't want to go too hard on a player for this, but he spent the majority of that round sat on players, rather than sat on drones or sat on the 0 SAM cams, of which there were 7 drones in the field, plus a bunch of SAM cams out. There was a lot of rotating between what players could see. Now, there is a world where you don't always want to be completely unaware of what players are doing. Sometimes it's easy to look at where they're pushing and what they're doing than it is to go, where are you going, what are you doing, what's happening, right? You're a dead man, you should be pretty quiet unless you're calling out critical information. But there was a lot of time rotating between players there rather than being sat on the drones.
There was, ultimately. It's, as you say, there's a lot of value that can be gained from those intel, you know, gadgets, your drones, your cameras. Would it have won them the round? Would it have changed anything?
Nah.
I'm not sure it would at that point, because Liquid were locked inside a site. That's where all the kills came from. You know, it's not like they were getting hit on the flank or anything like that. So not necessarily the end of the world. Maybe just saw more value, like you say, in just having a thorough understanding of where everybody was. But the bigger problem is that Liquid had a thorough understanding of where everybody was and were able to take them down, win the gunfights and get the round. It's going to be open area and staff next time around. We haven't seen Liquid defend anywhere other than the basement as of yet. I would expect to see a bit of a roam game from them. I would expect to see them up on the top floor. TSM are going to be heading potentially straight in that direction. They've got Bolo on the Jackal, perfect operator to try and deal with this. And Liquid, I feel like they need an opener here. They just need to get a little advantage and keep it. I know Ask got the entry last time, but he was traded straight out. They've got that information. They've got the pulse on side. They should be able to get this and keep hold of an advantage.
I spoke about this the other day because you'll see a lot of roamers like Palu's doing here, looking to contest onto the windows. They'll hold around Banana, for example, until the pressure from lobby becomes a bit too high. It's because you know generally the best way to enter on this map is going to be the top floor and work your way down from there. You also always need that top floor control. And the most common path is in through one of these 4 windows on the north-facing side of the building. So why wouldn't you look to try and slow them down when you know they can't get the cut? You've got Kanto completely reinforced off, for example. You can bolt it down through main stairs. There's lots that you can play behind and use to get yourself back quite safely. Don't worry about it all that much.
Merc has got himself inside a main lobby. A little challenge comes out there, but nothing too serious. Ask just taking a couple of pot shots. If only he knew how close he was. Pulse just moving around behind that wall. He's going to take shots if he comes through the door. Merc's just walking in here. They're not aware. He manages to find one. Can they react to the call? Not quickly enough, taking a ton more damage, and Merc's just going to hold his angle now as he has taken some damage himself, but achieved working from above, I believe, and gets one onto resets. 5 versus 3 for TSM now. Ness needs to step up and find Merc here, but he's not going to. Merc able to just hold himself inside of the doorway and get himself another. That's 2 on the round, and he's doing unbelievably. 2v5, Palu, PSK need to hold this down, but there's an age of time ahead of them.
It's looking real dicey here, Tim. Absolutely. Palu and PSK, the last 2, both held on site. Palu stepping out towards Bleepers, droned out, going to back himself straight away into sight. Still a minute for TSM to work with. They've still got loads of drones out in the map. They've got loads of utility in back pockets. There should be no way in hell in which they lose this round.
Just going to take the time here, make sure that they know exactly what's going on, trying to work those vertical angles. They come out of the drones, and it's basically about time to get moving now. They lose 1 to Palu. They're going to lose 2, trying to hit him on the vertical. They're not going to find the kill just yet, but it won't be long after as Gio finds the man. It's all up to PSK. He's got the Alder in hand. We know that this weapon is a clutch machine, but it's going to be down to the wielder as well. PSK needs to hit his shots, and he needs to play this exactly right. The problem is that he's got 1 on every side of him apart from behind. It's not going to be easy, and I think that's where Charlo might be going on the 0 as well, just to make his life a little bit tougher. What a first shot from PSK, but it doesn't matter because Bolo's there on the repeat, manages to get his man, and that's going to be the round for TSM.
Starting strong for TSM, Tim. Are you feeling worried at all?
I am worried for Liquid here. They've already lost Chalet. This is Bank. It's their map. They should be playing a little bit better than they are because TSM are playing with confidence and they are looking like the better team right now. Simple as that.
I speak quite a lot about risk versus reward, as well as the trade-off that some teams make. Furia, for my money, probably the team that make the most use of the risk factor, right? Where we'd often, it's a breath of fresh air, to be fair, where for the longest time we'd be used to seeing teams drone things out 4 or 5 times, be extra sure before they make a move, step in, then get C4'd anyway. Like, Fantasy would often be halfway inside the map within 60 seconds when Furia played. They are very aggressive and willing to push forward like that. You've seen this in a number of rounds now coming out of TSM. On Chalet, trying to clear that top floor, sometimes they did get held up on the kitchen and dining attacks, but here on this map, pretty quick when it comes to taking those risks, as we said with Merc stepping forwards, playing on the Zofia, getting himself in front of Lobby, even with a Pulse there, who clearly didn't scan him out. He steps up and gets himself a big 2K, creates massive pressure, really starts to give TSM room to work with, and they go on to win the round. And I like that we're seeing teams being willing to say, you know what, it's not a game of chess, it does come down to the frag. Sometimes pure siege is not the best way to play the game, and they're doing it in such a smart way that it keeps on giving them these round wins. It looks very different to the TSMs that we have seen of old.
It certainly does. It certainly does. And they are, as you say, impressive at the minute. And Team Liquid are struggling to get a handle on them. They need to start finding themselves some rounds on the defense. They don't want to leave it to the second half when they're already a map down to have to do everything on the attack, because they might just find a TSM side that's able to just lock things down nice and tight. If TSM get themselves to 4 rounds here on the attack, it leaves them only needing to find one site that they can hold down to at least push themselves into overtime. And that would be a little bit of a steal against the Team Liquid that have chosen the site. Nesk, he's going to keep himself inside of open area for the time being. The site is up on the top floor. It's going to be CEO. It's not often that we've seen this site so far while we've been playing Bank Des.
I think for us, especially casting it, I was just thinking the same. We've seen Tellers and Archives more, and Tellers and Archives has barely been played. Across the competition so far, we've seen CEO 41 times and Tellers and Archives 12. So at 3 to 4 times as much, call it 3.5 if you want, across 190 rounds. But for us, we've just always avoided it. Merc ain't avoiding no bullets coming out of reset, so down goes the Zofia, who's been having a good game so far as well. This could be the key to Liquid getting back into the game.
Certainly could be. Ness just going to keep holding his tight angle inside of open. I'm not sure if they're aware of his position. Resets manages to get another. They're just feeding him at this point, Des. They just keep going in, and he keeps eating them up. And he will continue as long as they keep pushing Tellers. Bolo going for a look as well. Slowed down a little bit after the last game. 3-3 isn't bad, don't get me wrong, but he had 21 in the last game, and he's going to be looking, I'm sure, to try and replicate that, but it's been a little bit fewer and far betweens this time finding the kills. He's on the hunt though, he knows where Reset's in, the call has come, but there's no reason for Resets to move here. It's 5 versus 3. He's had himself a couple of kills. Site is secure. Just hold on.
He's got Ness behind him, which is why he flashed out, but Resets wins another. This man can't be stopped in this round. I mean, maybe with 3 shotgun blasts he can get the kill in the end, but it's still a massive 3K coming out from him, basically single-handedly winning the round, and he's barely moved an inch, Tim. TSM, just not another one, please. They're finally pinching him, but I get a feeling it's a little bit too late. No way has he got another. Can he clutch it out? Oh, Geo, breaking hearts for Resets. That would have gone down in the history books, but no. Finds himself 4 in the round. Geo getting 1 back before getting closed out. Reset solo, winning that round.
I mean, he didn't even move his feet, did he?
No.
So we came into that round waxing lyrical about TSM and how great they've been and how they were on top of things. And then they all feed into one man stood inside of Archives. Just give him a 4K.
I talk about risk versus reward. That doesn't mean just throw one man after the other at one man who's planted down, give him a chance to reload, get the shotgun ready. You know, it was a little bit too easy there.
Bit of a mistake on that one, we've got to say.
Just a little bit. All right, basement then. Let's see if this one goes any better, because that one we can put in the books, and TSM will say, yeah, we don't want to remember that one either. We did see this played twice back-to-back in the very start of the game. That first round, a flawless coming out for TSM as they steamrolled their way through Liquid, only for Liquid to bounce back and end the second round in a lot of comfort. Let's see how round 3 plays out. Third time's the charm to break apart that best-of-3 deadlock on this site. That's with the mirror, again inside of red. You keep an eye on those C4 singing out towards the default plant spot once action gets underway as well, but that is the only C4 they're playing behind. Outside of that, they're leaning in towards the smoke. And think of the teams that we saw play yesterday. Dark Zero, Na'Vi, for example, really doubling down on bringing things like the smoke and the Chanker together, and 2 C4s. Very different coming in here from Liquid.
PSK going to get the yokai drawn up in the corner of Garage. It's been pushed both times by Merc, so PSK right to keep an eye on that direction. It also keeps him safe, potentially. If they don't push that, it allows him to play on the yokais and look to clear off those plants when they come in. But so far, on both of the defences down on basement, Des, the Echo has been basically muted. They've not been able to use it specifically to get those plants from going down. Bulwark looking for footprints up on the top floor, not going to find any at the moment. A few ahead of him now that he'll be able to scan out, and that's going to give him an opportunity to go on the hunt.
Just a little. If nothing else, once you get yourself scanned out, you are going to drop straight back down to site, and you may be wondering, why has he found a smoke up there? Well, it's Palu once again playing on the FMG. It's becoming a thing where it almost feels like we're seeing more smoke out in the map than we are just sitting on site, even on a Locker's defense.
It does, you're right. We've not seen too much of the smoke sort of sitting on site. I think Palu has made his way back now, especially when we get that Tachanka brought along. It's not something that Liquid have done so far today, but TSM, for me, the answer that they really need here is dealing with Ask. They did it well last time. They sent 2 in to try and double peek him from the bottom of stairs. I'm not sure they'll get away with it again, but it's such a difficult one for Ask, because if they do send somebody below and he gets the kill, where is the next one coming from? It's just a 50-50. You know, if this time they send them from top and you're still holding bottom, you're in trouble. It's just a little bit of a nightmare. TSM could even stack it and just send 3, send 2 bottom and 1 top, and just, you know, really not give him any option of getting out of there.
3 would be pretty viable. Can't really, surely you can't bring down 3. I say it now and you're watching when it comes together. They've got the hatch open up, so can look for that drop. There's 3 of them all positioned around it. You've got Merc, Achieve, Dangio here. Achieve dropping in on one side and now going to move his way down towards the bottom. Now Ask has been taken down on the first time of asking. In comes Merc and picks up the kill. And now they've got control of the server. The wall blown out once again. 60 seconds remaining in the round.
You don't need to ask Merc twice. He just takes his opportunity and gets straight in. He sees the crack and he goes for it. Plant spot has been opened up. Nesk on the mirror, just trying to hold down as best he can. Try and prevent that coming in. Still got Nitro in hand. Still able to potentially deny a plant as and when it comes in. Here comes Gio with that diffuser. Toxic Babe canister going out from Palu as well. You know he's going to hit this shot perfectly every time, Des. Absolutely on the money every single time. Smoke canister is put in there to prevent Nesk from being able to be a part of this denial for the time being, but the timing sort of works for Liquid there, because the smoke canister is going to deteriorate by the time Nesk is able to come out and potentially throw another. But have they got another there? No. The flash goes in. Merc tries to go deep. They have to deal with that mirror in a different way, and this is it. They're just running in. Achieved is down. Nesk finds 1. Can he find any more? It's down to him and PSK. 3v2. Time running out, and they are going to win. No, they've got the diffuser down.
Oh, they got him!
I think Gio was going to be able to stick it, but Nesk manages to find him with the secondary shotgun. Oh, what a round we've just seen from Liquid. That was real backs to the wall stuff, and that, for me, Des, is the sort of round that announces that a team is looking to drive far into this competition. Those are the rounds you've got to be able to win.
Whew. Tight and tough, the only real way you can describe that one. It came down to TSM getting 3 entries as well. They were 5 versus 2. Yes, Achieve was on the deck, I'll give you that much. But ultimately, they've gone on to then win a 2 versus 4. Big end of round energy there. TSM kind of with their backs against the wall, knowing that clock was hitting 0. They had no choice but to stick. And poor Gio, there's no way he wins in a 1 versus 2 there, being swung from 2 sides. The ITA with the finish off as well. Good round from Liquid. It did come down to a bit of a scrap, but they get the point on the board, and that is what matters most.
Certainly is. It's going to be open area next round. 3-2 Liquid now on the... Honestly, Des, I feel like if Liquid can come away with a 4-2 half here, it's a bit of a steal. I know it's on their map. I know we'd be expecting them to have the better half on defense. But TSM have just looked good so far. Well,
I agree.
Sorry, apart from 1 round, TSM have just looked good so far. I can't give them that round where they just fed resets inside of archives. But other than that, TSM have looked really, really good. How many times inside the first 20 seconds has Merc been in the building, boots on the ground, ready to go? It's been fantastic from them. They've been very entertaining to watch as well, really sending a message out ahead of them. But somehow, Liquid are still a round up, and you know, it's Team Liquid are one of them teams that you just don't always know how they do it. How are they holding on? Well,
Merc has been playing a sneaky Zofia game so far. Here he's stepping across onto the Nook. Just remembering the word. in my head. He's going to try and work his way up through garage here and cause some trouble out on the flank. Normally when you're attacking on the downstairs, you'll be the one as the nut working your way through garage, past the bulletproofs, for example, any evil eyes that are present, and try and strike hard and true. Here, though, they are attacking into open and staff, so it's a little bit different in terms of what he's going to try and achieve, but the goal is still the same. Avoid getting caught out by intel and try and get some kills on the way through. Does have the nades in back pocket too. 4 across the team, of course, with Achieved also bringing the others. I wouldn't be surprised if this top floor is going to be a point of push for them, but Merc is squaring up here towards the front lobby.
Just using the EMP blast on the camera there to take out a drone and just try and prevent a little bit of information for TSM. But as you say, here he goes. Nade goes out, not going to catch anybody. Not really pushing forward in behind that Hell presence reduction device. Uses it, but it's not going to keep him too far off the cameras because he keeps himself off them by staying inside of the ATM vestibule there. But he is now inside. His gadget is available again, but not going to be using it. The camera's likely been taken out. I think he's just out of sight of any potential bulletproofs or anything else that might be knocking about as well. So happy to start pushing in, but Liquid looking okay so far, a minute and a half in. Yeah,
by the same time as all this is going on in lobby, you've got Bowler being hot droned in by Geo. They've got control of most of the top floor now and forced Liquid away. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all hanging around on site except for Nesk, who's slightly dug down towards main stairs basement, but this means it's a bit more controllable for the side of TSM. They've got about 1 minute and 20 to work with here, so a decent amount of time. A load of utility still on side to play behind, but we've already seen in a couple of rounds, Tim, what happens when they let it go down to the wire with the clock. They've always come out the loser.
They have exactly that. They've not managed to get it over the line in the last few seconds. Merc, he's looking to push right on into sight here. And he might just get a little bit of joy if he does, Des. I'm not sure whether Liquid are aware of this or not. Nesk is ready to pounce on the stairs.
They heard the bleepers go off. They'll know that he stepped through there. It's more a case of what is he going to do? Is he going to challenge me? Is he going to push into sight? As soon as the call comes through that he's here, that'll likely be when Nesk then steps up.
It could be Nesk to spoil the party once again. We saw it notably on Chalet from Library Stairs. He was able to really make a nuisance of himself with the 4K. Nesk on his way. He's just taking his time. Merc, he's maybe taking a little bit too long, as Ask it is who ultimately gets the trade and gets himself a second. Great play from Ask. That's a big double and really puts TSM on the back foot now. Bolo taken down as well. It's 4 for Ask. Could you ask any more of him, Des? He manages to close out the round, a 4-2 half with 4 kills, and that is Team Liquid getting themselves a little bit of comfort on bank.
A lot of comfort, Tim. 4-2 half on the defensive side. This is the most attacker-leaning map that we have at their side so far. Like, that's a brilliant performance coming out. Again, their map pick, you come to expect it. TSM no doubt kicking themselves a little bit. We know about how hard they threw away round number 4, resets that massive 4K inside of Archives. Felt like watching a round of ranked, to be completely honest with you. Let's see what TSM can do on the defense. Here we go then. Lockers and CC starting on the downstairs with what looks to be quite an interesting setup. We've said it a few times throughout the tournament, Tim. You see a castle, you just know something spicy's coming.
You do, you know there's a plan. You know there's a plan in place. I mean, there's always a plan for these guys, but Achieved, going to put the bulletproof down in Garage. That's maybe going to be TSM's answer to the Garage problem. Last time when we saw Liquid defending here, it was putting PSK in there on the Echo and asking him to hold it down. Not always successful, as Merc was able to go in there, challenge him and just really tie him up and burn a lot of time, but I think what we're seeing, Des, is that NA mid-floor hold. Spoke about it yesterday at length when Dark Zero were trying it.
Here we go. Here we go. Go on, Tim.
No. We reached a point where we decided that it was potentially viable. We found a middle ground, and that was where there wasn't too much utility expended up here. Whilst they still had manpower and utility required on site, they made a much better attempt at it, but it was still difficult for them to do it. When you've got the castle, you've got mute jammers, you've got reinforcements, you've got mirror windows all up on that mid floor, you leave sight a little bit light, and they tend to just get cleared out anyway.
I think with how things are set as well, they haven't got any ADSs, they haven't got any mine magnets on side to make use of because they haven't picked either of those ops. I look towards Liquid and I kind of wonder why Parlo's picking up the buck here, and I think it's more that he's fearful of maybe having to attack upwards, maybe expecting a bit of a cheese site to start, looking up towards CEO, because attacking down here, a Sledge is just better in every single way. Less so for the vertical destruction, but one, for getting rid of those castles that they saw picked in, and the second, because you have those nades on side. 6 flashes, they don't really need them here. Sure, you can flash out a couple of members, but 3's is going to be enough. I'd have taken another 2 nades to start tossing in through the holes, down through the hatches, sorry, and trying to find members sat inside of red, forcing them to step away, but instead, they've got the book on side. So maybe you'll see that change in a future round across to a sledge.
Resets is just pushing into electrical. He's likely to try and put some pressure on towards open and staff, I would imagine, if he can get that wall open, but he needs to be careful because there's one playing inside of Archives Tellers as well. And basically the whole attempt from TSM here, where teams sort of turtle up down in sight, this is about burning some time. Merc's going to find a big opener onto Nesk there, and that could go a long way towards helping them get a win on the board here with this hold. As I say, it's really about wasting time, and the question is, how much time do you waste? How many risks do you take to keep holding on? They still haven't dropped the hatches yet, which I think is fine. I actually like this. Bolo, just having that hatch sort of soft, it gives them the option to reinforce, which is exactly what he's going to try and do, but he gets himself caught out there. Does manage to get the reinforcement, gets caught before he goes down, but that is that hold broken again, Des. It's now all about sight. Liquid low on time, but Merc, he's going to get himself a freebie. That's a steal with the amount of health that he had left. 3v3 as Palu picks up the trade, and that leaves us now with Liquid pushing onto site.
Yeah, it's 2 kills for Merc at this point, but it still feels even out by Liquid overall. They've got a couple back themselves. 3v3 and the 45-second mark starts to kick in. This is where nades, I think, would be really good to forcing back some of these TSM members. They've got flashes to play behind if desired. And Parlo's going all the way around the world here. Is he going down towards Garage, potentially, for a bit of a late push?
Who knows? It certainly looks that way if he's going out of the loan office window. He's going to drop himself down over the ledge and back in on himself. And this could be absolutely lethal.
Here's the cam.
They do have the bulletproof, and Bolo's on it, I think. He's certainly on a bulletproof. I think they only had the one, yes, so he must be on that one. So they will be away. Charla there, ready to challenge. Information was there, takes a lot of damage. Charla's absolutely all over this, Des. He's going to be earning his birthday cake at this rate. He's got the diffuser down, 2v2, Resets pushing in. It's all up to him and Palu. All up to Palu now, shut down by Charla, and that's going to be the first defensive round for TSM locked down. And as I say, we're finding that middle ground with that middle floor hold for a locker's site. Not too much utility put up there, dropped away at a reasonable time, and it was better.
It was a very heavy risk to reinforce that, admittedly, through the back of a soft wall. If that had the all 3 panels into Archives completely reinforced off, I think it would have made a lot more sense, but a big risky play, and Reset's able to capitalise. However, really it comes down to the clock, Tim. We said the same about TSM and their attacks onto that site. They've been stung by the clock twice going into the basement. Now Liquid have had a taste of their own medicine. Open area we step into. This is what we saw back in round 6 when Ask found that massive 4K for the side of Liquid. I'm not quite sure TSM can reproduce those results, but this could be where things get interesting. They balance this up at 4-on-4. Suddenly you get the feeling we're on a more defender-sided bank, Tim, and then heaven knows where those next few rounds go.
Heaven knows indeed. If this levels up, it's going to be... it's going to be a thrilling finish, because TSM, as we've said, great play so far and getting themselves a step. The thing is, if they can really start locking down defences, it's been, to be honest, that bottom floor defence that has worried me for the North American sides. As I've kept saying, we've seen them lose an awful lot of them, but the last few that we've seen, they just seem to really be getting into the stride of it now. Like you say, they've found what doesn't work about it, they've adjusted it, they've sort of just narrowed it down, they've tweaked it, and it's having great results for them now. So TSM able to get one. If they can find them elsewhere in the map, if they can lock down open area, you're in trouble, because then you look and you think, right, well, they can probably do lockers and open area again, so that gives them at least 6 rounds.
They're looking towards a vertical hold here as well. They've got a Goyo shield facing up towards Janitor Hallway. On the back of that, they've got 3 C4s in back pocket to play with, Tim. And you're looking towards a lot of information being fed back and forth, because you've got the Yokais, you've got the Mozzie Pests. Lots for them to work behind. And of course, doubling up with the Mute means that you have a lot of intel denial as well. So Liquid going to be quite impeded on their push into the building here. Will be quite slow on information. TSM going to be high on it at that point, and with the explosive energy coming in behind it. I really like the setup coming out of TSM.
Charla just on the Yokai drones, going to be feeding information in as Liquid try to push into the main lobby. Nesk goes in on the top floor. I was just about to say they really could do with a big round out of Nesk here just to go in and get those entries, but Achieved is ready and waiting, catches him with the gun 6 out and just absolutely slams him on the entry.
just eviscerates him. Nothing he can do. The Gone 6 shot did come off, which did remove the Goyle away, so resets is free to step forward. But Merc, another incredible shot coming in this round from TSM. They're on fire a bit today. It's starting to feel like, Tim, and that's even without Bolo popping off and dropping another 20 kills on this map.
It is, honestly, at the minute, if you had to ask me for the winner right now, it feels like TSM are going to do it. They're a round down, but they are just fighting so hard and so well. But let's not forget who is on the other side of this game. It's Team Liquid and Palu, one of the biggest names that we've got. He manages to get a kill onto Bolo and start to bring things back here in round 8. It's 4 versus 3 now. TSM just hunkering down. Liquid able to start doing a little bit of vertical work, but not over the site as of yet. They're still playing above tellers, above archives, and just trying to find anybody that's away from site right now.
It's far from the end of the road for Liquid if they were to lose this, but you've said it a couple of times, right? Can you imagine a universe in which Palu and Ness don't win an Invitational? Yeah, at the minute, it's not looking the best for them. One game where they're not quite hitting their shots, not quite putting up the numbers, and it's starting to hurt them a little bit. Palu does get one back, so already it's a 3 versus 3, despite those 2 wonderful shots coming out of TSM. So, with that clock starting to tick down, this is what stung them a little bit on the last site. It could turn out to be the same here. A great drop in from Palu. I said you can't imagine an Invitational where these 2 aren't winning it. Well, Palu and Nesk, Palu especially, really starting to put up some shots.
Merc gets one. Can he find another? No, shut down by Palu. This could be exactly. I said they might need something out of Nesk, but you've always got to remember there's a second option with Team Liquid, and it's Palu, and he could get himself. Gio gets himself a 1v2 and closes out the round. TSM, they just won't be beaten, Des.
I love how every single one of the team, every team member outside of Gio turns to him and is like, you're so good, you're so damn good at this game. They're beefing him up there, riding high in the vibes right now, and that's off the back of a Palu 4K, Tim. What more can you do?
It's not, that's the thing, and the problem is that's what's going to start getting into Team Liquid's head is, I've had a 4K, it wasn't enough. What else can we do? And I think it does become a mental game then, because you just start feeling like TSM can do no wrong today, and it's starting to appear like that because they're having an absolute field day at the minute. They've got themselves a couple of defenses now. As I said, if we can extrapolate further into the future, look at it and say, well, we can assume that maybe they get those 2 sites again, so that's going to be open and lockers shut down again, so that puts them on 6 points. So in that scenario, Liquid are looking at overtime at the best on their own map, unless they can come in and do something they haven't been able to do as of yet, which is win on those 2 sides.
Call me a cynic, and it's hindsight is always going to be 2020, but they had a bit of time to play with there in a 2 versus 1. That's probably the best time for you to slow things down, get some drones on the go, find out exactly where he is, and then make your move. The scary thing is, Palu, I think, flashing from behind as well. I don't know if the flash fully connected. He looked like he was in range, but it might have been clipped by the edge of kind of the wooden light screen that sat between him, the desk, the office desk that's set up there, the grenade, and of course between Gio, which meant he could win both of those separate 1v1s. Either way, massive play coming out of Gio, and if that's all that he does in this game, that could be what gets him through as a 2-0 into the next round against the winner of Empire against Sonics, which, as a reminder, is our next game.
I tell you what, if TSM can beat Liquid 2-0 here, I would not want to play them in that next round.
No.
Because they are going to be a nightmare. They're hitting form, they're hitting confidence, they're hitting everything at the right time here at the 6th Invitational 2022. It has been a great performance. Bolo's going out of this window, I tell you now. He's got it prepped, he's ready. He wants to go, he's just waiting for a potential repel. He's just waiting for the invitation. No,
there's no one there. They've moved away. They've all moved off. If he jumps out here, he's dead. And that's what makes me nervous. Okay, he's back to
He was just waiting for the zipline.
Woo!
If he'd have heard that noise, he'd have been straight out of there.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad that he didn't in the end and just thought, yeah, let's go for it. At least here he stays himself alive. He's not going to be perma-pinged outside and surely gunned down by Liquid, who were all gathering around the lobby, taking the front door as any would-be citizen or well-meaning citizen would do, rather than smashing some windows in. Bolo's hoping to challenge, I think, onto this, I think it's the Habana Ask hanging on these windows here, looking to get Kanto opened up to try and force Achieved away. Not yet going to happen. Now that it has been opened, he hasn't yet stepped away. Still dug into the left-hand side here, which means he could be pressured if not careful. Charla, though, they're not seen this. They haven't seen the bulletproof in lobby, Tim.
No, and it's a good one as well.
I love it.
plenty of information in, and it could be the undoing of TSM here if Liquid can use that information well. The problem not a problem that they've got, but with 5 still alive, sorry, TSM, 5 still alive. Oh, there's nobody sat watching it necessarily. Charla is on it at the minute though, certainly doing the work. Achieved is going to take the damage there. 5 versus 4 effectively now. Achieved unlikely to be picked up. May choose to drop himself away through the elevator, but probably not. He can just keep himself there and feed information on sound calls for the time being as to when the push is coming at least. It's about all that he can offer at this point. Bolo is holding a tight angle, but it doesn't matter. Resets finds him, and that's going to be Nesk and Resets opening things up. 5 versus 3.
Does mean now for the last 3 members of TSM, they've got to dig in deep on site. They've got a C4 still to play behind in the hands of Merc. 1 holding inside of Tellers, 2 in towards Archives. Charla now actually stepping down in towards open area as well. So spreading out ever so slightly here to see what they can achieve. Still seeing that bulletproof being used, by the way, feeding out what's going on with Ask in terms of when he's coming off the rappel, when he's pushing in. Oh. And now they know. Palu, a big kill from above onto Merc, a 5v2, and surely, Tim, surely Liquid find the round.
That was absolutely beautiful from Palu there, just hitting that vertical shot so casually, but they are so difficult. Resets gets 1. Geo stops it being a flawless round, but that's all he can do. Traded out immediately by Resets, and that's going to be Team Liquid taking themselves an attacking round. It really was what they needed. It's the first one that they've had on the board, and somehow, Des, they still find themselves in front here despite TSM's hard work. It's 5-4 Liquid, 2 more rounds for them, and they find themselves going to map 3.
This is going to be the battle, right? They've now got to overcome this site that they've already lost, and both teams have really struggled attacking into the basement today a couple of times. It's been one of those where the clock has not been their friend. They've had to deal with potential roamers. They've had a war over blue stairs when TSM have attacked it against Ask, for example. There's just lots to really think about, and it's going to be a similar lineup coming in once again for the side of TSM. Looking in towards that Mozzie for the information denial away. You've got the Echo coming in with more information too. A bulletproof for inside a garage, which Palu found himself standing up against. It's really going to be on Liquid here to be the ones that make a change, and their lineup hasn't really changed at all.
Just getting the hatches. All of the boxes being ticked here from TSM. As we said last time, they held this site well. They were able to burn a lot of time. They didn't use too much resource in doing it. Bolo got a little bit ambitious in reinforcing a hatch and lost his life, but it wasn't the end of the world. It's still, you know, burnt a bit of time, lent to them being able to get this one done. They're going to be playing it very, very similar. Achieved is now going to do that final castle barricade and just lock himself into open and staff. They also had Merc out in the map roaming last time as well, but I think it's going to be a little bit of a different approach from Liquid this time.
He's still doing his setup is the problem here as well. I thought Resets was just going to go for it then as well. Maybe they had a drone inside of open, but nope. Nothing to worry about just yet. You've got Bolo sat inside a stock, by the way, and Merc playing inside a janitor, so they are starting up on the top floor. The hatch is reinforced underneath Bolo, so he's got to be careful. Same for Merc. He's now stepping himself further back. Understandably, you want to make them work for those hatches, right? Get your hard breachers over there. If you lose your hard breacher, guess what? Things are going to fall apart very quickly. That said, they've got the Habana on side, and they've still got those 2 hard breach gadgets coming in for the 0 of PSK.
Merc roaming freely on this top floor. The push hasn't really started from Liquid yet, but they're only 45 seconds in.
If only Bolo knew.
If only he knew. Drones are going across.
Oh, he went for it!
Bolo gets Nesk, Gas gets Bolo, a nice little trade there. That's going to be a 4 versus 4 now. Not the end of the world for Liquid, but they've only lost the Ana, a couple of nades potentially, but it's not terrible.
If only Bolo knew, if only he knew.
More important is the man that they've lost, essentially, with Nesk being off the board, struggling to get into some of these rounds at times, but he's going to be looking to Palu now to step up and find those frags in his place. Merc knows that there's one on the rappel, and I think they know exactly where Merc is, as Axe does manage to find him, and that leaves us now 4 versus 3, 1 minute 30 left to go. Team Liquid, for me, looking a little bit better than they did last time on this attack.
They're doing good with the kills in the early round is the most important part, right? Like Bolo popped his head out of stock window, got the kill coming in onto Nest, but was immediately traded out. You've then got one moving up towards the North rappel, finding another one. One thing to consider, Tim, of course, is this is the bottom floor defense that we're looking at. This has been a lot of time wasted up on the top floor. Sure, they've lost 2, but they've basically chewed through every single drone that Liquid had in the back pocket. Only 3 left on the board, and only 1 active in the field. Nesk, both of his are alive. But I think one's in back pocket, one's out on the field. They've got basically 1 drone to work with here. That is not a pretty situation to be in.
Nope, it's really not. They're going to be going in without a lot of information. They're going to be going in largely blind here. We've got Liquid still opening up castle barricades. 45 seconds left to go. Palu pushing blue stairs, not going to meet any resistance. They can get themselves down into server, but you just feel like this could end up being a little bit rushed. They've still got work to do. They've still got the wall to open up. They've still got kills to find. 30 seconds. Charla is sat inside a garage. He needs to be careful on his angle there because he wants to be available if there are Yokai drones left to use them to deny the plant that's going to come in potentially, especially in such a late plant situation. Look at that, Charla. He must have been inches away from his monitor to spot Ask there. Geo gets resets and all of a sudden Liquid, it's falling apart, but Palu, he gets one. Finds himself now 1v2, taking damage. They know exactly where he is. Time ticking down. He can't do a thing as Charla finds him from the garage. And once again, Charla has...
This is even without Nesk and Palu going absolutely nuclear, right?
Yep.
Like, on the day, they would be absolutely mental. Sure, we've seen Palu come up with a big 4K. We've seen Resets have one in a round by himself too. But it feels more like the engine's like sputtering and stammering to really get itself started here, rather than being in full rev mode and getting the car moving along. They are in the game, they are competing, but it's not quite to the level that we know and have seen out of Team Liquid throughout the competition so far. Here we go then, into open area and staff room for round 11. Again, we will see all 12 regulation rounds here. It's still a very close affair. You can't really call it one way or the other. TSM, it feels, have got the momentum after taking those few rounds on the defense and bringing things up to 5-5. However, you just don't know between these two teams what's going to happen round to round.
You really don't. It could go absolutely anywhere, and that's the exciting bit.
Off the rails, Tim, it can go. Off the rails, it can go.
Off the rails. That's the exciting bit, and we're going to find out over the next couple of rounds. Open area will be Team Liquid's next attack here. TSM looking to hold down on that top floor for a while as well, by the looks of things. So it's going to be a roam clear to begin with from Team Liquid, opening up the windows, recollecting those drones. They're going to need them because they need to find exactly where these players are located if they want to go in and make the challenges. Merc has been a nightmare for them so far here on Bank, leading in kills, absolutely no surprise, and he just keeps bringing that vigil, Des, which when Merc's hitting kills, putting him on a vigil, it just makes him even more dangerous.
Call him a nightmare. Is it like the kind of one that wakes you up for 2 seconds in the night, you go, oh, thank God it was a dream, back to sleep, or the kind that wakes you up in a cold sweat, you stay awake for hours?
Yeah.
Night terror level, that's what he is.
It's just... They just haven't been able to pin him down, and he's just won so many of his fights. That's been the thing for Merc. He's hit nice shots and just taken them apart. And
he's stacking up the entry kills, let's not forget.
That's the thing, he's giving him the advantage in so many rounds. Ness.
Oh, how old are you with that?
Unusual finesse there as Bolo able to spin 180 on him and get the kill, missing his shots, and Neska's just felt a little bit cold here on Bank, not had a kill for a couple of rounds, and his team is suffering for it. Resets almost catches Bolo as he goes for the drop-in elevator to escape away. Team Liquid have got themselves the top floor, TSM force back, but they're going to be happy with this, Des. They've got Ness, they've got themselves an advantage, and they've burnt half of the clock.
Oh, Nesk, he'll be kicking himself for that one. Out like a surefire freebie. Bolo was barely moving, but paints him a little bit too far to the right. Bolo does the 180, gets the kill back. A real kicker, and darts away with his prize as well. The trophy of Ness taken back to the site with him. Here we go then, 4 versus 5, and we get towards that last 60 seconds. The thing is, Tim, unless Liquid are really rolling by about this mark in a round, they haven't come out on top in the dying 30 seconds or so of a round. The fact they're down a number now, the fact they're still coming up against a fully stacked out TSM outfit, they've still got the Yokais on side, for example, it makes me nervous.
That's it, it's looking like it could be good for TSM here. It could be a map point opportunity. Charla going to take down Resets 5 versus 3, and it's just going from bad to worse for Team Liquid right now. 40 seconds and they're not even inside a sight yet. TSM are comfortable, Des. They're able to hold their angles. We can see they've even got achieved on the Maestro, just led prone. He's just waiting. There goes the flash. Palu using it to full effect, manages to take down Merc, but 25 seconds left to go and Team Liquid need to get moving. They don't know that Gio's down here. He's going to get himself a freebie if he comes round this corner. Palu does
he knows.
He's just taken the prone position. No, he's down.
He's dead.
He's down. I thought he'd hit the deck. I thought he'd...
Oh no! The big spoiler coming in! Gio out of the basement gets the 2, and that'll be TSM surely moving up to match and series points. The upper bracket continues awaiting. They get the close down, and they are 1 round away, Tim.
Internally, I went from excitement to devastation there. Palu, I really thought he'd hit the deck. I thought he'd heard Gio and thought, right, I'm going.
I heard the disappointment in your voice.
I'm going to win this, right? And then I was like, no, he's down. He's down. Man down. We've got a second man down.
Think back to earlier on. Nesk, well, tried to flank onto Merc doing that. Ask got a big 4K in the round, so it didn't matter. But they employ literally the same strategy in their defense of this site. They know that there can be a man on those stairs, and they know what damage he can do. But they just didn't have the presence of mind, maybe panicking because of the time. I said it at about that 60-second mark. When Liquid are coming in with either an even or a lesser number of players, it is unlikely they walk away as the winner from that point forwards. And that is just a massive spoiler. I said for Gio earlier on, winning is 1 versus 2. If that's how they win the game, you're taking to get in that one round. But he's only gone and delivered again with a huge 2K for them. And TSM, they're going to be full of it in this round, Tim. They're going to be bouncing into round 12. They can close it out here 7-5. And yes, it will have been a close series. But all the history books will remember is that TSM go on into the upper bracket and Liquid go down to the lower.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, TSM now come to a slightly different point here. And it's, I spoke about the strings to their bow earlier. Can we add another to it? The ability to clinch matches out. The ability to close it down and get it done. They've shown us it so far, but it's getting to a point now where it really counts. This is the sort of game where the players are going to be thinking, right, we need to get this done. We need to knuckle down. And the question is, are they a team that can lock them out, or are they a team that are going to give the opportunity for someone to come back into it? We're going to find out in the next 2 minutes 45. Charla setting up those mirrors up on the top floor. They're going to be defending the top floor. It's going to be CEO for them. And it's going to be pretty much all top floor from TSM. I don't see anybody underneath at this point.
At this point is probably the key word there. Someone can drop away very comfortably if they start losing any kind of control. You got Merc with a shield out towards Janitor. You've got a shield here, 3 ADSs, a mute jammer, all splattered out towards Kanto. Now, unfortunately, there is no Twitch on side. We saw what I believe it was Elevate did the other day. You get in front of ATMs, you can throw the Twitch drone up onto a pillar above the kind of ATM arches, and you can shoot out all the utility that's on Kanto without having to nade it or worry about any of that kind of stuff. Here, sadly for Team Liquid, they're going to have to take the long way through. They're going to have to try and steamroll it in unless they can do, yes, unless they can use the Zero to zap these out. Now, do TSM know about this? They might be able to see it at distance. If they've watched the clip on Twitter of what that Twitch cam did, they'll know. That's one remove. They can just keep on doing this as they keep on getting more of these SAM cams up.
That's it. They only get 1 shot per SAM cam, so it's going to take more than 1 to do it, but PSK will continue fighting that fight and looking to take it down. There you go. It's been dealt with. I don't think they were all from the SAM cam, but it was certainly a part of it. The wall's going to be opened, and Achieved has had to dip away. So good start for Liquid, and they are definitely posturing up for that lobby-sided push.
You really want Parler to get underneath here and get blasting that floor with the buck. It's the whole reason why you've had it this entire half is for this vertical play. They haven't had massive amounts of opportunity to use it yet. He's just used it more of his go-to fragging machine, sitting at 11-7. But this is the round where you want him to be used. The thing is as well, Tim, they only have 2 frags in the round, and both have been used to clear out Kanto. They can't use what teams have been doing all tournament long, which is those frags to get kills from below without any response from the other side. Here comes the entry. It's Gio to get things off. Immediately traded back out. It's a 4 versus 4. Down to another as Reset starts to go nuclear, Tim, to 45 seconds left.
Big play there, 4 versus 3 now for Team Liquid. 45 seconds left to go. Ask has the diffuser in hand. Parlu's just working above from the skylight. Doesn't find one. Achieved. Was ready for it and hits him on the reverse. Brings us back to 3 versus 3. They need resets to go big here. He's already found himself 2. They've got 1 on the window. There's work to do. They're not in a position to put the diffuser down yet. Resets. He's going all the way into sight here. Merc has worked his way back up the square skylight. He doesn't know about Bolo, who misses his shots, hitting the chair. Ask manages to find him and starts putting the diffuser down. Merc, he's trying to work his way back in. Achieved is underneath. I'm not sure he's going to be in a position to try and get that denial, though he does manage to find PSK, but Ask is likely to be successful in putting the diffuser down. Merc, he's just roaming through. Do they know? Do they have the angle? Team Liquid just need to hold on to this for 40 seconds.
Chief's got nose on the deck. No, Ask hitting 2 big 1v1s in the round after getting the plant down too. Resets holding it. Merc sees him, but doesn't quite connect. The shot starts away and Resets. Glitching behind the bomb, finds the shot. Yet again, Tim, will go into overtime.
Merc was so close to hitting that first headshot there, Des. He just went with the flick, and in a different world, in a different time, in a different universe, he hits that and is in a 1v1. But Liquid, they got lucky and they managed to continue on. Find him from behind the bomb chassis, shut it down, and we are indeed in overtime, Des.
Now to crack it yet, there's no change to their lineup coming in here. Maybe we see a 6 pick to spike. sacrifice it up here. It's going to be the Iana stepping out here and the Jackal coming in instead. So maybe a nod here towards what Merc has done. He got a big 2K on the entry last time round on this site. They just want to see him back on site and not causing trouble and getting in the way of their plans.
Oh, Des.
We're being treated, Tim.
So
2 maps of overtime.
So excited.
Happy birthday, Charla.
Happy birthday, Charlotte, indeed. Those celebrations are going to have to wait for the time being because you've got at least another 2 or 3 rounds to play here. That's what it's going to be. For anybody newer who's joining us, it's the best of 3 rounds now. So the first team to win 2 of them will take this map. If that happens to be TSM, if you look above their name at the top of your screen, there's a little red diagonal bar there in the center of the screen towards TSM showing that they have got 1 map won already in this best of 3. So if they win this one, they continue on their upper bracket quest to find that hammer at the end of the trail and to win the 6th Invitational. Team Liquid would drop down to the lower bracket. However, if Team Liquid can come out on top here in overtime, we will go to a 3rd map. It's Villa, Des, and it is honestly anybody's you feel at that point.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look back to, God, SI 2020 when they finished 3rd as well. They came so close that time, and they were kind of always second to SSG and NIP, naturally, as they were the grand finalists. But TSM know what it's like to get close and just fall short. This year, something feels a little bit different.
Reset's just opening up the stock window a little bit so that he can get a drone in, start finding these top floor roamers, make sure that they can clear the map out. TSM playing the extension again into open and staff, I believe. They are defending down in lockers, but we've seen the mid-floor hold pretty much every time from the North American teams, and TSM have been no different. Nesk goes in, manages to get some footprints. They're going to be underneath in archives and tellers, but it allows him at least to confirm, I think, that they can start pushing forward. All those footprints being blue show that they are older footprints. The closer they are to red, it's like a heat map, the newer they are effectively. So if those footprints were red, Nesk's going to be saying there's somebody up here. They've only just been here, we need to be careful. But they're a nice bright blue, so it tells him that they're probably a minute or so ago.
Oh no.
Too
He's
easy.
waiting.
He knows.
Does he know?
Yeah, he knows.
Sixth sense?
I think so.
I don't know. I mean, Reset's kind of realised here he had to go and drop a breach charge down inside a stop, which is what he's done. Merc is sniffing his way up. Reset's completely unaware that Merc is up here. Oh,
I don't think they know.
Narrowly avoiding each of the Resets is out the window. Yeah, Merc was going after him, but just can't find him in this instance. Could maybe find something if there's someone else trying to push around square. It is Nesk, who of course tracked him out, but Reset's not wanted to chase that any deeper. Merc probably feeling like his prey's been stolen away from him there.
Oh, the thing is though, Merc can play a real spoiler here, Des. Team Liquid now think that top floor is clear, and it's not. And when they push in to open and staff to take control of it before pushing down to server, they're going to find themselves getting gunned down by a Vigil that they then have no time to go and find. That's the big problem.
He needs to look left. If he looks at the hallway, he'll see Ask sat there. You've got 3 hanging around square, but he's being patient as a saint, Tim. You might even find Resets on the vertical here if he's lucky.
Trigger
look a bit far to the left, but yeah. I don't know if it's trigger discipline or him just narrowly missing out on opportunities here, because Liquid are slowly starting to step their way forwards. He hasn't got a hatch he can drop down. It is reinforced behind him. Now he's on the move, but Liquid have mostly moved away. Here he comes on a flank. Gets to the top of square. They still don't know he's here. I can't believe how patient he's being, because Liquid, they're looking towards the execute team. I really feel like he's got to make his move now. He's looking for Parlo. He's looking for Ness. Will he see any of them? Might see one on the downstairs. Still doesn't. Now he sees one, just misses him out as well. They're going for the plant, my man. You've got to make a move. Finds the one, gets the shutdown. Can he find any more? Sees the diffuser, gets one, gets the second, gets the third as well. Merc has absolutely crippled Liquid from the back after the patience of a saint. Saw him hanging on the top floor for the longest time. They're going to win on the time there, but Merc is the hero.
Nothing short of a majestic play coming out of the Vigil of Merc there. He bided his time, Des. He knew what he was doing. He didn't want to take a nibble at the small fry. He wanted the big fish, and boy did he get it straight down there. 3 kills, absolutely unreal from Merc. Take a bow. You might have just taken one step towards putting your team in the next upper bracket match. It's that fight there that he wins. The second one against Nesk. That was the big one. Nesk had to have the cover there, but he just couldn't react quickly enough.
You just knew when Resets backed away and they gave up on the chase, that something was going to happen. And think about how different that round would have been. If resets had died and had challenged him, for example, or Merc had caught him a couple of seconds earlier, if he'd taken the shots through into open area, that round plays out very differently because Liquid would have been looking out for him. Perfect roam-based play, the patience of a saint. Call him Merc the Magician, because my God, he might have just conjured up a spot in the upper bracket for TSM. Here we go now, potentially the last round. It is match and series point for TSM. They are on the attacking side, and Liquid are hedging their bets on the last round where Ask found a massive 4K. It's staff room and open area.
Well, we saw it last time, Des. It went to overtime. TSM won the first 2 rounds. It was 8-6. They've got an opportunity to do it again, but we've also seen TSM have that series point so far here on Bank, and Team Liquid were able to fight back and take us to overtime. So this really could be the toss of a coin. As you say, they've had a good round on here previously, but they can't rely on a 4K coming out of Ask. Team Liquid, they need to play this cautiously, not give away those opening kills. They do not want to find themselves in a 3 versus 5 again.
They don't. It's all going to come down to the entry battle here, I fear, as well. Keep on talking about these teams, you know, in the last 60 seconds or so, if things are equal or less advantageous for them, they are falling short. Partly the one looking to contest on the entry. I mentioned earlier on that you always see this start on the top floor, and it's always on the rappel. Bolo and Achieve both looking for their way inside the building here. Palu looking to maybe connect. Using the wrong vowel there in his name, I think, Tim. Parlo. What
In
that
goes the nade from Achieve. Not going to find any damage onto anybody. Nesk already gone. He's going to be moving down the main stairs. Trying to keep himself mobile, I think, and just keep in that position that we saw Geo benefit from earlier, whereby you can just pop up the main stairs and challenge onto that double door. But TSM, you would expect to be aware of it. Merc once again on the entry. Takes down the 4K hero that we saw last time on this site. It's Ask gone, and that is a big advantage for TSM and a long-range effort from Merc.
The Magician delivers again. The reverse angle. It's absolutely beautiful, Tim. 5 versus 4 with still half a round to play. You're looking at it already and just thinking, can anything stop TSM walking over Liquid in this round? They need someone to go huge, whether it's Palu, whether it's Ness, whether it's resets with another big 4K, whatever it looks like, someone needs to work some magic. Otherwise, their time in the upper bracket will come to an abrupt end.
That's it, it's time to fight, and it's now or never. Merc just leading the way this time. It was Bolo on 21 kills last time. It's Merc this time on 15. Not quite hitting those heights, but still up there with an unbelievable performance. He's going to open up the wall, give himself a long angle inside of open. 57 seconds left to go, and a lot of pressure for Liquid to absorb here. There's multiple accesses to site. Merc takes a shot through the wall. It's just one of those days.
The Magician.
It's just one of those days where the shots are landing, so you keep taking them. Merc finds himself number 16. That's PSK gone. 3 versus 5. If you remember, I said this was the last thing that Team Liquid wanted. It puts them seriously on the back foot now. They're inside a site, and they're just trying to hang on.
You've got Merc pushing out towards west side by Bleepers, but you've got Ness playing downstairs. Geo is going to drone him out, though, so hopefully shouldn't catch him, but it's resets from the other angle. Gets him instead. You'll take that every day of the week. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who gets the kill as long as it is found. 4 versus 3 and 15 seconds to go. I think Liquid can hold on here, maybe, Tim. Bolo gets in and gets 1. Resets a second in the round. A 3 versus 2 with Geo trying to sit the diffuser. Ness coming in towards Bleepers. Big C4 over the top, but it gets shot out. Resets is down. Nesk has got to do it all. Bolo steps up for the challenge. It's a little bit of a 1v1 on the close angle. The Bolo wins and sends them further into the upper bracket. Liquid drop down to the lower.
Who would have thought we'd see a finish like that? Bolo just giving us a masterclass at the end. Shoots out the nitro, hits the man in closet, comes round and gets the shotgun kill. Absolutely.